I probably should do this as part of my How to Make Money in Comics series, but I'll talk about it now because I think it applies not just to comics. Everybody that's trying to do something alternative in entertainment, you're going to be faced with this. And one thing that you'll learn very quickly is how the mega corporation has spoiled a lot of people, like a lot. And what I mean by that is you take something like Amazon, right? It may seem like, yeah, you're a completely different company, but it got people used to getting things fast and cheap, right? Because they have local warehouses fucking all over the damn world, right? You got to compete with that. And there's going to be this expectation that's been built up. And it comes with a set of, well, let me say this. If you're going to be successful, you have to be very, very disciplined to not overpromise, because you're sitting there having to like compete with that type of thing, right? It's like, hey, my shipping rates aren't Amazon's rates. I'm working to get them lower. Because of our volume, we've got our rates really, really low. But even still, there's going to be those that are like, well, I can get something from Amazon for X amount of price. Why don't you do it? And you're like, shh, I'm not Amazon, right? But it's not even just with something like an Amazon. It's like the swimming through all of this quote unquote free content, right? And then people, it's of no fault of their own. It's not for them even to understand, though. It's more so for you to understand and adjust, and maybe you have to communicate that with your audience. Where companies that are worth billions of dollars can put out things for free or things that lose money. We see that in the comic book industry, right? And it's for a certain price. I don't know if y'all know, something like anime, for a lot of these companies, these Japanese companies, did y'all know that anime is a loss leader? That means that they're not making money off of the animes individually. What they're making money on is other stuff, merchandise, and maybe even some of the print with the mangas and stuff like that. But a lot of these companies, the loss leader for them are the anime. But they look at it like it's worth it, right? So they're getting it's worth it for them. They're like, if we invest in this money, even though we're losing there individually, we're going to make it somewhere else. Boy, when you are independent that don't have like millions of dollars, billions of dollars in some of these American companies' case attached to your company, bros, you can't do that. There are no loss leaders for independent companies like that. None. There's no loss leaders. Loss leaders mean bankruptcy. Loss leaders means you're out of business, right? So it's interesting because as you navigate, right, and even if you're growing, there's still going to be that expectation that's going to be levied at you by, and we're not talking about haters, bros. We're talking about people that have been spoiled. Let's call it what it is, and that includes you. I mean, if you're a creator, you're still a customer to somebody, right? And you're so used to getting it one way. It's like, hey, this piece of shit right here, it is X amount of dollars, right? $4, right? Or whatever it may be. You got some people that think that's too much. And I guess for the quality, yeah, it is baking paper. But I can guarantee you right now, they're not making money off of this. I've already broke down the numbers for you. Comics probably have I say probably because it's hard to get the actual data. But you can make an argument they've never been profitable. There's not enough money to go around. There's too many hands in the cookie jar, bro. They got to pay all of these people. You go, let's look at this book, right? I'm going to open this up, right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10 names on, that are credited, right? That all probably are trying to work full-time jobs. That are part of the creation of this. Again, quality aside, right? The publisher is not getting $5 a sale. The retailers are getting a cut of that, right? Obviously, because you're not buying it directly from the publisher. You're buying it from whoever the retailer is, right? There is simply not I've made this point. I know people get mad at me, but it's the truth. Just do the math. All of y'all have been spoiled by this direct market system. We as customers have been spoiled, right? By the retailers have been spoiled by, though some of them are starting to go under. We do understand that, but it was always on a house of cards, but you had the benefit of, especially with the big two, which largely controlled the market, they were always tied, at least in your lifetime, always tied to some billion-dollar corporate entity. Somebody will subsidize them. Since DC, to go watch my video on this, since really DC was first a thing, they were subsidized by somebody else. They weren't just making it. It's not enough money to go around, especially with this direct market setup. You got all these trying to get money off of this $4 comic, right? You got the publisher, you got the distributor, and you got the retailer trying to eat off of this. Bro, y'all know it ain't enough money to go around for that. We've been spoiled. But they can charge a certain price because it's a loss. They're operating at a loss anyway. So if they're charging at a certain price as a publisher, well, if you put that book out, people are expecting, well, I can go get this book for X amount of dollars. Why don't you charge it? Well, bro, I'm not a $1 billion company. I can't do that. So it's little things like this that the mega corporate structure has spoiled a lot of people in various entertainment formats. So the guys that go out on their own and try to do their own thing, you also are dealing with a big body of people that have been spoiled. And you got to compete with that. But I will say this. Do not fool yourself, if I can end on this note, into believing that you can actually charge what they charge. You couldn't possibly do that. You know why? Because you're not a $1 billion entity. You're not playing by the same set of rules. You don't got the deals it is that they have. It doesn't matter in what entertainment thing it is that you're doing. If you're trying to replicate the mega corporate model, you're going to lose every single time. Every time. So my argument is find out what works for you. And this is where transparency benefits you, right? Because you get to explain that type of stuff to your audience, right? Why is something the cost of what it is? You don't need to tell everybody everything. But don't think that buyers are stupid, because they're not. Don't insult your customers like that. They're smart enough. And if you can just explain it and communicate that to them as to why you're doing it this way, why it makes most sense financially for you to do it this way, they will pay more, comparatively speaking, to maybe the mega corporation. Or they will be a lot more forgiving for your shipping costs. Or they won't maybe expect you to do this or you to do that. Because, well, you've been honest with them. And this is why transparency is so beneficial. So beneficial. Alpha Core #1's pre-order is live. Written by the legendary Chuck Dixon and penciled by Joe Bennett. Visit Rippaverse.com to grab a copy and any of the merchandise items. Be sure to also check out the animated trailer for the campaign, which is the latest project from Rippaverse Studios. Y'all be easy.